The Therions have been out for one weekend now, and they're already seeing some sort of play. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. The first list for OCG Thursday, we're going to be looking at Therions. Now, this entire deck is based on the premise of basically using your allies' corpses to kind of capitalize and build a board. It's a very interesting concept, and we have Grass Looks Greener in here to kind of facilitate this particular strategy. So we have two copies of Aluber, the Jester of Despia, two copies of Aquamancer of the Sanctuary, triple copies of Asher Blossom and Joyous Spring, one copy of Despian Tragedy, the one Effect Veiler, the two Fallen of Albaz, triple copies of Maxine, then we have one Duke Julie. So this can let you target a Therions monster or a Psychic monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand if you do equip that monster to this card. Alright, and then while you control an equipped card, Therions monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Then Therions monster equipped with this card gets 700 attack and the preceding effect of Therions Duke. Now, the Regulus here lets you target a machine or a Therions to equip, and then has the quick effect of basically when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send one Therions monster card from your hand or field to the graveyard to negate that effect. And then once per turn, all right, the equipped monster has 700 attack, and it passes the preceding effect onto that. So you get a negation, and this gets a step out over a machine monster. You'll see later on in the video here, it's actually pretty important for our friend Sky Striker out here playing that. Then we have one copy of the Therions Leaper Fam. So you can target a Therions or an Aqua, step through this. And during your opponent's turn quick effect, you can target one Therions card in your spell and trap card zone, and one card your opponent controls, and return them to the hand. Alright, so that's going to be your bounce. And then we have triple Lily Borea. So you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard to add a Therion spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Alright, so that's actually pretty good. Alright, then we have one Griffin Rider, the triple copies of Branded Fusion, one Branded in Red, triple copies of Branded Opening, two copies of Called by the Grave, the one copy of the Crossout Designator, one Draco back, one Foolish Barrel, the one Journey. Then we have triple copies of the Perpetual Engine Argeo System. I like calling it the Angry because it's just staring at you. So you can send a Therions card from your deck to the graveyard. Alright, so it's a free mill, so you can set up the basic starting equip here. And then you can target one Therions card in your graveyard, add this card or that card to your hand, and place the other on the bottom of your deck. Alright, so that's pretty good. Alright, just if it's in your graveyard, you target Therions in your graveyard, so whatever you milled off, you can return it and then mill back whatever. Alright, it's actually a really good solid card. I'm actually surprised they made this. We have triple Pot of Prosperity, two Rite of Armesia, two That Grass Looks Green, and we have triple copies of the Therions Ring, the Colosseum Saucer. And of course, in any true fashion, our field spell says on activation, you add a Therions monster from your deck to your hand. Alright, so straight off the bat, that's pretty good. And then once per turn, if your monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send a Therions card or a Perpetual Engine Angrio System from your deck to the graveyard instead. And then once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Therions monster in the graveyard and add it back to your hand. That is so much packed into one field spell. I can't believe they made this. We have two Imperm, and then we have one copy of the Therions Cross. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Therions monster, activate one of these effects. Or, if you have a Perpetual Engine System, Acrio System in your graveyard, you can activate both effects in sequence. So you negate that effect, and then banish that monster. Down here in the extract, we have one Verti Anaconda, the one Link Spider, the one Dragugulong, the one Hope Harbinger with the number 100, the one Dingrisu, the one Dragostopelia. We have two Mirajade, two Lebellion, the one Chimera, the one Brigand, and two copies of Albion here. And then we have two Nibiru, one copy of the Bull's Eye. So you target a Therions card you control, and one card your opponent controls, and destroy them. So basically, your pass-on effect. It's not too good. We have two Token Collectors, one Harpy's Feather Duster, two Lightning Storms, two Prescription, triple Twin Twisters, one Imperm, and one copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up Therions. Next up here is the branded version of Dragostopelia. Now, this deck has kind of started to see a little bit more play in the OCG. Not like on a crazier level, but this is one of those decks that you kind of want to keep an eye on here and just take note of it exists, because the Predaplant stuff gets very interesting. I mean, also free contact fusion stuff, the fact that this thing is so easy, it's just free searching for Predaplants. So we have triple copies of Asher Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 Fallen of Albaz. Remember, we're only playing 1 Albaz here because this is a sub-engine for the deck. We have triple copies of Maxi, triple copies of the Bull Felucia, 2 copies of the Biblisp, triple copies of the Chimera Flageodu, 1 Darling Cobra Friend, 1 Ortho Scorpio, 1 copy of the Sarcantiant, 2 copies of the Tyrantus, 1 Shadal Beast, 1 Romarnian. Alright, we have triple copies of Branded Fusion, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Foolish Barrel, 1 Fusion Sub, 1 Instant Fusion, 2 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Then we have the Predaprime Fusion. Literally, this card exists. If a Predaplant monster is on the field, fusion summon 1 Dark Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including 2 or more Dark monsters. Yeah, that's a card, by the way. We have 1 Super Poly, 1 Talents, 1 copy of Branded Exile, and 1 copy of Infinite Permanence. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 copy of Verti Anaconda, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Trip Overdome, 2 copies of Dragostopelia, 1 Chimera Flagia, 2 copies of the Armor Blue Philides, 1 Mirjade, 1 Lubellion, the 1 Guardian, 1 Starving Venomy, Greedy Friend, 1 Winda, the 1 Albion, and the 1 Abyssal Alba Rakantas. Then we have 2 Alpha, 1 Pankratops, 1 Droll, 1 Effect Veiler, 2 Nibiru, 1 Token Collector, 1 Harpies, triple Lightning Storm, 2 Dimensional Barrier, and 1 copy Red Reboot here, wrapping up Predaplants. Next up here, this is Punk. Oh wow, we're really playing to a new tune here. Punk Orchestra, by the way, and Illegal Night. So we have 2 copies of Aquamancer of the Sanctuary, triple copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of the Gogaku Punk Wagon, 1 copy of Grisu, 1 copy of Gizmek, 1 Illegal Night. Then we have the 1 Madam Spider, triple copies of Maxi, 1 O-Line. You already know where these synchro plays are going. We have triple copies of Foxy Tune, 1 Diane Note, 1 Symbol Skeleton, the 1 Harpor, triple copies of the Orcus Nightmare, the 1 Griffin Rider, the 1 World Wand, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, the 1 Draco Backsteed, 2 copies of Emergency Teleport, 1 Foolish Barrel, the 2 Droplets, the 1 Journey. Yeah, by the way, this is supposed to be Crossout Designator. Keeping me on my toes here. We have 1 Orchestrated Return, 2 Rite of Armesia, 2 copies of Infinite Permanence, the 1 Dangerous Gabu, and 1 Orcus Crescendo. And then we have 1 Union Carrier, the 1 copy of Longrisu, 1 Link Spider, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, the 1 IP, the 1 Galtea, the 1 D-Hark. We have 1 Hauk, the 1 Axis Machine, the 1 Pain Gainer, the 1 Seven Sins, the 1 Tooting Grisus, the 1 Chaos Roller, and the 1 Baron de Fleur. And then we have 2 copies of Lancia, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Nibiru, the 1 Token Collector, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Evenly Matched, 1 IO, and 1 copy of Red Reboot here. Wrapping up basically Punk Orchestra shenanigans the deck. Alright, remember these 2 particular engines do work pretty freaking well with each other. I mean, when you can have a basic solid Orcus backing to 95% of your strategy to ensure that things go out, you're probably going to win. And the last list we have for you guys here is Striker Therion. So it's actually previously kind of popped up where we talked about this at the beginning of the video here, but remember this says Machine Monster. Guess what all your Sky Striker Link monsters are. Alright, yes, this lets you send from the hand or field to the graveyard. Alright, quick effect, send 1 Therion's monster card in your hand or field to the graveyard to negate. This is a walking negate that you can step out and basically do some interesting shenanigans with. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Maxi, triple triple Sky Striker Ray, 1 Rose, 2 Regulux, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, 2 Pot of Desires, 1 copy Rhoda, 1 Afterburners, 1 Hornet Drones, 2 Shark Cannon, 2 copies of Widow Anchor, 2 copies of Multi-Roll, 2 copies of Engage, triple copies of Linkage, the best darn card, 1 Terraforming, triple copies of the Therions King Saucer, and triple Imperm. Then we have 1 Zeke, triple copies of Shizuku, 1 Kaina, 1 Kagari, triple Hayate, the 1 Celine, the 1 Almirage, the 1 Phoenix, the 1 D-Hark, the 1 Hauk, and the 1 Access Machine. Then we have 1 Pankratops, triple Droll and Lockbird, 2 Token Collectors, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Harpies Feather Duster, 2 copies of Twin Twisters, and triple copies of Dimensional Barrier. Wrapping up this chunk of deck profiles for you today. You guys notice that like Therion's kind of good, especially in like Striker. It's just going to take like maybe 1 more good card to kind of push that deck over the edge there. And I think you're going to be seeing a good potential tier 1 deck, even if it just takes just a little bit more. It's there. So guys, please leave a comment down below what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later and there. Some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.